What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another DFS DraftKings NFL video. So tonight we are doing the first Thursday night showdown. So this is the first showdown video. I have contemplated doing these showdown videos in the past. I will be upfront. I am not the best at these, but I've had some success here and there, and this feels like one of those nights where it's easy to kind of take advantage of a situation. Dallas is coming off of an upset, if I remember correctly. The Raiders did win that one, correct? Yeah. Yeah, the Raiders did win that one. So they're coming off an upset. And I feel like this is prime opportunity for Dallas to come around and really showcase to the rest of the NFL that they are still a force to be reckoned with. Because let's face it, man, this year the Saints just flat out suck. That Week 1 matchup was an anomaly with Jameis Winston. The Saints have just been awful since. They weren't playing that great when outside of here or there, a few games here or there with Winston, though their chances of winning were definitely higher with Winston at quarterback. But since Winston went down and all the other inconsistencies they've had this year, and also mounting injuries, this team has just gone straight into the garbage. So this is prime opportunity for the Cowboys to kind of reclaim their prime status, keep their playoff hopes alive. And if they don't win convincingly here, this should spell some serious issues for the team going forward. But I'm putting my money on them actually rebounding and actually finishing this game. Now, granted, when they lost to the Raiders, they had a slew of injuries that they had to overcome. They lost CeeDee Lamb to a concussion. Amari Cooper didn't play. Cedric Wilson went down with an injury. So there's a number of plays here that I actually like, though, coming into this, including one in particular on the Saints side. So, and then first off, though, let me go ahead and just talk about Sunday real quick. I know I had mentioned that Tampa Bay Indianapolis game, and I was like, oh, if this is a shootout, let's look forward to, Godwin is going to be the main benefactor, if and maybe Jonathan Taylor will have another big game. Seriously, who in the F saw it coming that of all freaking people, Leonard freaking Fournette would have 4 freaking touchdowns and 100+ yards on the ground? I was so angry about that. I was so mad. I guess I'm kind of overblowing it, but I was just I was so frustrated about that. I was like, what? And I had been jinxing myself, because I had played Leonard Fournette so many times in the early part of this year, and it just got me absolutely nowhere. Same with the I think one of the showdown matchups I had one of the weeks prior, and I was like, oh, Fournette's definitely going to get in the end zone. And they end up running it on the goal line with Ronald Jones, and it just made me want to slap the stupid beret off of Bruce Arians' head for that, because it definitely cost me. So, and then they come back against the Colts, and let's just get Fournette 4 touchdowns and 100 yards on the ground, and Tom Brady have a subpar game. What? In a high-scoring affair against the Colts? I was so frustrated. That being said, I've been having that on my mind all week. So let's get into this showdown matchup with Dallas going into New Orleans. So obviously, highest priced player on this in both the captain and flex is going to be Dak Prescott. This guy pretty much the Dallas Cowboys pretty much go the way of Dak Prescott. If he has a great, outstanding game, normally they win. If Dak struggles, they most likely don't win. So And even in a game against the Raiders where he had 68%, 375, and 2 touchdowns, really what it came down to was just what it came down to was them losing their offensive weapons when they really couldn't afford to do so, and also the defense really being let down. I mean, that game was pretty. It went to overtime, I believe, but Dak is a possibility. I really don't like playing quarterbacks in the captain spot. To say that I won't have one lineup with Dak in the captain spot is a lie. I probably will throw him in once in the captain spot simply because of the upside of him throwing 3-4 touchdowns and a 300-plus yard game. Because the running game just hasn't really been there, and I don't foresee it being there that much tonight against one of the better run defenses in the league, which is so ironic because the Saints' offense has been total garbage and their pass defense is terrible. But they can stop the run if that's one thing they got going for them. So, and Ezekiel Elliott has been so inconsistent. I mean, 18 carries in the last 2 games, can't even break 50 yards. I mean, he's got into the end zone once. I mean, he's averaging, I'm not really sure what the yard average is per carry, but it's just been going down, and it's been very inconsistent. You know, I mean, he had a stretch where he was doing really well, and then he got hurt, and he just hasn't really reclaimed himself, and it's kind of unfortunate, you know. And you know, a guy waiting in the wings is a guy like Tony Pollard, who's younger. I believe he's younger. Yeah, he's younger. He has a little bit more burst than Elliott does at this point, in my opinion. Every time I've seen him run the ball, he runs the ball. It reminds me of Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones has that same explosiveness and ferocity when it comes to running the ball. So, but anyway, I'm kind of jumping around here. Kamara's officially listed as out. Don't let the questionable stance fool you. He's not going to be playing tonight, so that means Mark Ingram is in. But we'll go down the list. Captain, Zeke, probably not going to captain him at all. I think the strongest captain here is CeeDee Lamb, back from concussion protocol. Hopefully we'll get a much better outing. You know, he didn't even get a catch, or was he out? I think he was just out. I can't remember when he got hurt. That's right. He did get hurt in the Kansas City game. That's right. So he didn't even play against Oakland. Okay. So hoping for a better stat line there. I anticipate CeeDee Lamb bouncing back. Taysom Hill is the one Saint that I think is actually in the best line to score a lot of points, just because obviously he's getting the start. But also because of the rushing upside. If this Saints team is going to be competitive at all, it's going to rely heavily on Taysom Hill being mobile and being able to scramble and create plays out of nothing. Because let's face it, the Dallas secondary isn't that much better. So, and Taysom Hill is one of those players that you can kind of just play on his own, and you don't necessarily have to throw in a pass catcher, just because no receiver so far has really stepped up to be the bona fide number one target on this team, as far as I can tell. Next down is Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper is coming back, I believe. Okay, they have him listed as questionable, but they activated him from the list and practiced in a limited capacity. Lingering symptoms in a position, but he's now put himself in a position to keep his absence to 2 games. Well, he's expected to be active Thursday. Cooper may have a limited snap count, but Dallas will have its top wide receiver trio. See, this is what is so frustrating about this whole scenario, is that strange things always happen on these primetime games. And when I mean strange, I mean like the thing you least expect, the player you least expect to have a big night ends up having a somewhat of a big night or an impactful night. And I can totally see this being the case. the fools who jump in and say, you know what, I'm going to take a shot at Cooper in one of my lineups in the captain spot, and then he ends up catching like 9 balls for $120 and like 2 touchdowns, and everybody was thinking he was going to be on a snap count because he's still not feeling well, and then boom, he ruins all of your lineups by breaking out and being the number 1 receiver on the field. So I will be having at least a couple lineups having him on the roster. At least one maybe in the captain spot and a couple others in the flex just to cover the spread. So you want to make sure you cover all your bases in these showdowns, because one player can absolutely ruin your perfect lineup. You could have every single play. The way that things roll in these showdowns is that you could nail virtually all of your flex positions, but you have that one guy who just absolutely eats it that night, then you are done. You are not you're maybe getting like a dime out of that contest. So that's what's so frustrating about this. Next one is Tony Pollard. So Pollard obviously is when it comes to touches, is very inconsistent. He is a little bit more invested in the pass game, I would say. But they do favor Ezekiel Elliott, but the times he does get the ball, I know he only has 1 touchdown on the year, which is kind of surprising. But he's still a little expensive. That's the only downside, and it kind of sucks that he's so expensive, because it's like not really. It's like a Hail Mary play, not really a punt play or a high risk, high reward play. It's really like a Hail Mary play, like you're praying that he outperforms like all running backs on the slate. Michael Gallup is another interesting candidate for the captain spot, as you know, he got over 106 yards, didn't get in the end zone, but did get the 100-yard bonus, which is always good. And I expect him to his targets to continue to go up since Cedric Wilson is out. And Cedric Wilson was one of my favorite budget plays on these showdowns, just because he had a good connection with Dak Prescott, and he's had some big catches in a lot of these games. Marquez Callaway, not really convinced here at all. He's like, I think he's leading the team in touchdowns, which is great, but I mean, when you're not even cracking 50 yards in like the last 5 games, it's really hard to even, flex position maybe. With that being said, that's probably all I'm going to go with as far as captains. My main captains obviously be like maybe 1 or 2 with like Dak Prescott, and the rest being CeeDee Lamb, Taysom Hill, like a couple with Cooper, and then probably a little heavy-handed, well, not really heavy-handed, but even keel with Gallup and CeeDee Lamb. Dalton Schultz is worth talking about in the flex. Like if we're going to go to the flex, obviously Dalton Schultz could possibly be a candidate there. I think Gallup being cheaper than Schultz, definitely you want to lean towards Gallup. Same with Callaway. Is Traquan? Where's Traquan? Wow, they have Traquan Smith. Where? Oh, right here, 5,600. Interesting, because I believe he's slated as the starter. Smith might be an interesting option to have, just because he is slated as a starter. Mark Ingram is going to start tonight. He definitely is getting a bulk of the carries, and I think he could be in line for a bigger night with whatever his name is, Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is the quarterback. Just because of the read option potential, they'll have to account for Taysom Hill, so it could take some of the defensive pressure off of Mark Ingram, so he could end up having a decent night. I mean, if he gets into the end zone and has over like 50, 60 yards, I'd consider that a good night in the flex, especially at 5K. I know on paper the Dallas defense is ranked 5th, but let's face it, the Dallas defense has been inconsistent over the year, more so through the air. So Traquan Smith could definitely be in line for a big night, or a decent night, I should say. I don't really expect too much out of this out of the Saints offense. Deontay Harris is I'm not really too sold on Deontay Harris. Has big play potential because of the speed. He's kind of the deep threat, I guess. Let's see. He could go with the kickers. Like Greg Zuerlein is a great option. I don't know Brett Maher too much. Has like one field goal and missed an extra point this year. So Greg Zuerlein is definitely the better option for Dallas at 4,200. So, yeah, Tony Pollard being at 70. I mean, a backup running back costing more than the starting tight end for the Cowboys. That really tells you something. That's kind of, in my opinion, that's kind of robbery. That really steers me away from even considering Tony Pollard. I know Zeke had been injured. He expects Ezekiel Elliott to handle a serious load of opportunities. Really, I don't understand that, because unless they really feel like they have a advantage over that Saints defense. I mean, I know what Jerry Jones says and what the coach actually does is, can be different. I don't know. Maybe I will try and squeeze him in, but gosh, in the flex for 10,000, I mean, where in these last 5 games do you warrant that? I mean, sure, he scored 3 touchdowns in 5 games, but, I mean, he didn't crack 20 points until he scored 2 touchdowns in that one game. And, he went for 9 for 25 and a touchdown and caught 6 catches for 24 yards. And that touchdown is the only reason why he had a decent, but for Ezekiel standards, it's not really that decent. It's kind of like meh. And you want to charge me 10,008 in the flex? Get out of here! Like, really? And that's the thing. They try and they this kind of like sways you away from starting him. And watch, this is one of those Amari Cooper situations where he could all of a sudden pop off for like 140 yards and 2 touchdowns and and piss all over your lineup. So, all right. Let's knock out a few lineups. Let's. I know I forgot to do that on this past Sunday. I apologize about that. I was in a hurry to get the video out, and I just didn't even think. I closed it up, and I realized after I uploaded it that I didn't do any lineups. So my apologies there. All right, let's throw Gallup in there at the captain spot. I'll throw. All right, let's see what it looks like with. Give me Mark Ingram. Let's see how it is with Ingram. We got 87. Let's definitely throw Prescott in there. Let's see, we got 76. This is where things start to get a little weird. Do we want to see how it looks with both quarterbacks? All right, let's do Taysom Hill. I know one option. I briefly looked at the roster, and I know Noah Brown is going to be taking over for Cedric Wilson, and he did catch 6 catches for 53 yards against the Raiders. But let's face it, man, we got Cooper, we got CeeDee Lamb, and we got Gallup. I mean, there's no way that Noah Brown would get more targets than like even Dalton Schultz or one of the running backs. So I wouldn't risk it because up until that point he hasn't really done much at all. So I wouldn't risk it on a full stack of weapons for the Cowboys. So what I would do instead is maybe even, because obviously a lot of these lineups are going to be stacked towards Cowboys. So let's put Greg the Leg in there. We got 9,200. Screw it. Let's put Cooper in there. That's okay, I guess. And Taysom Hill isn't like a necessity at that point. Like you don't absolutely have to have him in there. Like again, this is one of those high risk, high reward kind of deals. This is where we really see how good that Dallas defense is, or how bad it actually is. So let's see what it looks like without that. So without Taysom Hill, we can actually fit. See, I don't really like doing that though. I don't like throwing in all three receivers because I just don't see it happening. This isn't like Madden where you can have like 300-yard receivers in like one game. Let's throw. All right. Well, let's throw CeeDee Lamb in there. Okay. So with Taysom Hill, that's one lineup. So let's take Taysom Hill out. Let's put CeeDee Lamb in. Let's take Amari Cooper out, and let's throw Dalton Schultz in, and so there's one lineup you could go. You could take Mark Ingram out. You can throw Traquan Smith in there. That's a decent lineup. Take CeeDee Lamb out. Throw Taysom Hill in there. Now you got a pass catcher with Hill. You can take Schultz out and have Cooper. There's a lineup. You leave nothing on the table. So those are some lineups that I think are okay. Let's see if we can squeeze one in with, let's see. Let's take Hill and Cooper out. Let's throw Elliott in there. That leaves us with 74. We could go Callaway. That's two pass catchers. Instead of Callaway, and then here's what you can do. You can take Callaway out. You can throw Ingram in there. You got 2,400 left over. You could have 8K if you end up taking Smith out, but I wouldn't do that. You take Smith out. You can throw Callaway, I guess. That's one way to do it. You can do that. You can do... not really sure what else you can do here. You got 13.5. If you throw... Yeah, there's really not much you can do with that. Ty Montgomery or Lil John Humphrey. Nah, there's nothing to do there. So those are some lineups. You can switch it around, obviously. Let's see, with CeeDee Lamb in the captain spot. Oh, whoops. CeeDee Lamb in the captain spot. Match him with Prescott. Come down here, grab Ingram. Yeah, this is one of those things where you could, the kicker could be, like, I don't know. I'm always, like, iffy on playing kickers because I feel like you get screwed too many times playing the kicker. Let's see. At 7,000, you can throw Gallup in there. Let's see. Well, let's throw Traquan Smith. Let's see what we're left with. 8,400. Yeah, definitely Gallup. I would trust Gallup way over Tony Pollard. At that price point, you want to take advantage of that 6,800 as much as possible. Even though it's kind of risky, just because you don't really know what the status is going to be or the game plan is going to be for Amari Cooper. So, yeah, that's the best you can do with that one, in my opinion. So, that's the CeeDee Lamb build. Let's try one with Dak at captain. Let's grab Zerline. Let's grab Smith. Like, I do like Mark Ingram just because of how consistent he's been, but I just really hate the potential the potential of the Saints playing from behind and them needing to throw the ball more. So I would lean a little bit more towards playing some receivers, but for the sake of cap space, let's just see what it looks like with Ingram. We could always take out and pay up if we end up having leftover cap space. So Dak Prescott at captain. Let's throw Taysom in. We're left with 7,900. This isn't too bad. So we can throw Gallup in there. We'd be at 61 if we took Ingram out. Nah. I think that's a pretty... Now again, a lot of this would probably be like my only lineup with Dak in there. Because, again, this is banking on... this is banking on Dak having, like, a crazy game. With that, I would probably want to lean more on his pass catchers, which we could take Smith out. Oh, we really don't have anything there. If we did a kicker instead... not a kicker. What am I talking about? 6,700. If we did a kicker and took Mark Ingram out, no. Well, yeah, let's try that. Did a kicker, took Mark Ingram out, 7,700. There's Dalton Schultz. I think, okay, I like that a little bit more. You cover all areas of the field. You got both kickers, you have both quarterbacks, and you've got two pass catchers for Dak. And this is kind of banking on Taysom like spreading the ball around to like 7 or 8 different targets, and then maybe rushing 1 or 2 touchdowns, which would be amazing. That would be amazing. That would make this actually, if you were to rush with 2 touchdowns, it would probably be better to have him in the captain spot, which we'll do real quick. So let's do that. Let's do Taysom Hill in the captain, Dak in the flex. Since we already know we went with both kickers in the last build with quarterback and captain, let's do that. So 7,800 left, so we can get Gallup. We got 88 left. We got Cooper. I think that's a fair lineup there. I think that's okay. All right, I'll do one Hail Mary with Ezekiel Elliott at captain, just in the off chance he goes for like 80 or 100 yards and like 2 or 3 touchdowns. Zerline, just because even if it's like a blowout, like the Cowboys put up like 28 or 30 plus, Zerline's going to be getting those extra points or field goals. So let's throw both running backs in there, see how it goes. Let's do Gallup. Dak, obviously, we got 6K. Not crazy about that. Yeah, I guess Traquan Smith would be the best option there. If Prescott were to have one of those down nights, throw Hill in there, take Smith out, and put maybe Schultz. You can do Schultz or you can do Callaway, since you're expecting the Saints to throw the ball a lot. So those are a few lineups you could go with in that direction. Let's see. We wouldn't have we'd have 6K if we took Zerline out. Yeah, Zerline, best bet there. So, yeah, those are some lineups that you can roll with. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think, what some of your favorite plays are. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you'd like to see more of this content. If you'd like to see more of this content, of course. And best of luck to you. Hope we all do well tonight on this Thursday night football. I will catch you all later on this weekend.